Spider-Man Miles Morales. A brand new console generation and a brand new Spider-Man game, but that's not enough to keep the same old glitches rearing their ugly heads and having some fun of their own. Now that's not to say that none of them are fun, or interesting, or patched. Why must you always take the fun away from us developers? Why? Well, I guess we should talk about one of the glitches that is definitely patched and was sadly one of the most fun ones too. The glitch in question is lovingly referred to as the Spooderman glitch, and well, it's kind of obvious why once you get to see it. This glitch was activated by going into your suits and selecting the suit you were already wearing and then mashing circle and X together, and basically if you did this enough, you'd actually trick the game into thinking you were wearing Peter Parker's advanced suit from the first game. And this is where things get pretty comical, because if you look closely, you'll see that Spider-Man now has no chin. He is Spooderman. Now, basically what's happening here is the game is applying Peter Parker's advanced suit to Miles Morales' model in this game, and this will create some hilarious side effects which the game developers did not intend. The first of which being is if you take this suit into a fight and try to use Miles' Venom powers, well, it turns out the animations that are attributed to Miles don't work with Peter's suit, and what ends up happening is, well, nothing. You get kind of frozen in the air, like I did here. This also applies to Miles' stealth takedowns, where if you try to perform a stealth takedown in this suit, the enemies kind of give up and just fall over. But the most frightening, terrifying, but also hilarious side effect of this glitch is anytime you hang upside down and fire a web in this suit, well, you can see what happens. You can see it. In fact, now you can't unsee it. Try not to have any nightmares about this now. Yeah, that's enough of that. Get it off the screen. Now, sadly, as previously mentioned, this glitch was patched very recently, so the only way you can perform this glitch now is to delete any updates and go back to version 1.000, whatever it is, and then you should be able to still do this glitch in that version. It's a bit of a cumbersome workaround, but that's the price you have to pay for works of art like this. Also, don't forget to subscribe now, otherwise glitchy Spider-Man will come for you in your dreams. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on. A glitch that just never seems to go away and a constant favorite of mine is ragdoll physics applied to enemies that you've beaten. You'll be there punching bad guys, and out of the corner of your eye, you'll see just one of these guys jiggling, stuck in the ground, or inside a roof skylight, or inside a roof skylight. Man, these guys seem to have real trouble with roof skylights. Or just stuck in the ground next to a tree. Don't walk all over him, dude. He's in pain. I mean, probably. His face is buried in the ground, so it's hard to know what he's saying. But his legs are definitely saying, for the love of all that is good, please help me. I have to say, the enemies in this game are just all down for a little bit of fun. Whee! And sometimes when they're not having fun, they just like to hang out. Although I think this guy's pretty on the fence about it. Oh, no. Just stop, please. It isn't just enemy NPCs that seem to be having some glitchy fun of their own, it's also the pedestrians walking around New York, like this guy who seems to be trapped inside a concrete pillar. Yeah, dude, there's nothing I can do about this. Spider-Man doesn't do this, whatever it is you're doing. In one part of the game, you can find a bunch of NPCs dancing around, but for some reason, a couple of them have two heads. You know what? Just looking at this, I have definitely taken a wrong turn somewhere. Also, Miles has a bit of a secret handshake, which is a little more intrusive than you would want. Clearly, Spider-Man has never heard of social distancing. But in all seriousness, this just kind of randomly happened when I was playing the game. No idea why. I guess no self-respecting glitch episode would be complete without Spider-Man standing on something invisible. And in this clip, we can see he's on top of an invisible perch. And if you want to see this for yourself, you can find this at the train yard where you pull the trains for the puzzle. On the roof just by it, you can find the invisible perch. And you know what? The most surprising thing about this glitch is it wasn't found by me. It was actually found by my son, Elliot. And you know what? That wasn't his only discovery. He also found an invisible platform that you could kind of stand on. Although we don't really know why this happened, but he is definitely following in my footsteps. Now, please leave your "he is the son of a glitch" comments in the comments section. Thank you. Now let's talk about one of my favorite kinds of glitches in modern games, and that's cutscene glitches. And even this amazing next-gen game cannot escape these kinds of glitches. Quite a common glitch that seems to be occurring during cutscenes is the absence of dialogue, making some conversations pretty one-sided.
So on my last inventory check, we had a couple hundred missing. I don't know, but today we're supposed to have 2 trucks out making pickups. But our GPS transponders say there are 3. Something's up.
Well, this is awkward. What do you think about this, Genki? Yeah, I figured as much. In this cutscene with Haley, for some reason unbeknownst to anybody else, Spider-Man doesn't have a head. That's right, Miles, just act completely normal, maybe she won't notice. Why does he look like an action figure that somebody tore the head off? Oh, no, wait, never mind, his head's back now. So wait, I'm confused. Why was it gone in the first place? I mean, it's not like they changed model or anything, so the head should never have gone anywhere anyway. This game is so weird sometimes. I guess the logical extreme of this is having no head to just being a head floating around. At the beginning of a side mission where you help out Feast, there's a costume change where Miles gets into his regular clothes, and this sometimes triggers this glitch where, for some reason, he's just a floating head before his model actually pops into view. Sadly, it's triggered completely randomly and I have no idea what causes it, but hey, I guess that's the nature of glitches, right? And then we have this absolutely spectacular glitchy cutscene where everything just failed. Animations just stop working, the lighting is wrong, models don't load in correctly. It is just such a glitchy mess. Oh, and to top it off, when it transitions into gameplay, you just fall through the ground and eventually die. What a sight to behold. The act of transitioning from gameplay to cutscene and back into gameplay again sometimes has some very weird glitchy results in this game. And none of these glitches are more prominent than the spider lamp glitch, or sometimes called the spider brick glitch, where Miles just somehow transforms into an object in the world. Now there's a good chance this has all been patched by now, but the most common place for this glitch to occur was in the side mission, Robbers Target Local Biz, where once it was all said and done and it transitioned from gameplay into cutscene, sometimes for some reason Miles would turn into a lamp or a trolley or a cube or just some random object that's near him. Sometimes he'll even just be invisible and swinging around New York. And it seems the longer this glitch goes on while you're playing the game, the weirder it gets. Sometimes you'll transform into entire patches of floor. One of the most surprising things is the game actually functions quite normally despite this glitch. For instance, you can fight enemies as whatever the heck this is, and it just kind of works, which is so bizarre. What am I even looking at right now? Man, you really have to give it to Insomniac Games, creating brand new DLC before Nintendo where you can play as a Mario pipe. Ah, my favorite superhero, Default Cube. Honestly, I wish I knew what triggered this glitch. I'd be doing it all the time, but it just seems kind of random. I tried so hard to trigger this glitch on the version 1.0 of the game and just no dice. It happens when it wants to happen, unless it's been patched out, in which case it will never happen. There's a bridge in New York that Miles unintentionally destroys, and if you revisit this part of the map, some very strange things can occur. For instance, much later in the game, it's actually possible to traverse this huge gap in the bridge and make it to the other side, which is still relatively intact. However, I don't think the developers ever intended anybody to reach this side for two reasons. Reason one, the further you go down the bridge, the more likely it is you'll actually fall through it because it's not solid, and two, if you zip to some of the lampposts hanging over the bridge, this will happen. Yep, I'm gonna hazard a guess and say the devs never intended you to be here, and also, what is going on? Oh, and FYI, you're actually stuck like this. The only way out is to enter the map and fast travel somewhere. I guess we found Spider-Man's true weakness, broken game mechanics. Have you ever looked at the trains going around New York and thought to yourself, I really want to know what Spider-Man looks like inside this train? No? I mean, it's not a common thought. But if you have ever thought that, there's actually a way to get Spider-Man inside these things. What you need to do is get Miles in between these two trains like this, and when the train starts moving, it'll actually nudge Miles inside the train, and now you can ride the subway's most empty train ever as Spider-Man. Lucky you. Also, for some reason, the carpet inside the train is magic and moves locally to the world and not the train. Look, it's like we're on a conveyor belt. This is a glitch inside a glitch. It's glitchception. Oh, but the fun doesn't end there. If you stand on top of the train and stand in the gap between carriages, you can sometimes get this to happen, which is a very novel way of traveling around. You know what we're really missing from this episode? A T or an A pose glitch. Don't worry though, I got you covered. There's a mission much later in the game where you have to solve a puzzle using Miles' electrified webs. And it turns out that if you hang from the ceiling and connect these 2 points up, Miles will enter his default A pose and just be suspended in the air. Now you are still able to move around, mainly up and down the web, but the funniest thing that you can do is if you shoot webs, it will kind of look like Miles is waving. Hey, look up here, it's me, Spider-Man, I'm stuck. Send help. Actually, don't worry, I'm okay. I've just invented the spider wave. And once you've had your fun with that, you can actually return to the ceiling and things will be back to normal. Just with less waving. Some people reported that the game would crash on them during cutscenes and load them into Miles' apartment whilst he's wearing his Spider-Man suit. Which means you could use all of Spider-Man's powers whilst inside, which is not something you're usually able to do. And yes, as you'd expect, this means you could climb the walls, and sometimes this would lead to some unintentional out-of-bounds moments. On the flip side of this glitch is people replaying missions where Miles is in his regular clothes would sometimes abandon those missions, and this would sometimes prompt the game to incorrectly load Miles' regular clothes model into the game world, and you could just play as Miles. Not Spider-Man, just Miles. This is pretty cool in a way because you get to be Miles Morales with all Spider-Man's powers, and everything still kind of works normally. Although, unfortunately, this glitch either has or undoubtedly will be patched. Now, to round off this episode, why don't we check out a very random glitch where Miles gets completely destroyed. In this clip, we can see Miles inside his apartment next to the fridge, and in photo mode, for some reason, this one time, Miles' model is completely distorted. Now, I went back into the very first version of the game and tried to figure this glitch out, but I really couldn't get it to trigger, and I was so sad because I wanted to see it for myself. But it seems to me that huge groups of vertices within Miles' model are being dragged along a certain axis and making it very distorted. I mean, this is both very comical and also nightmare fuel. As if the Spooderman glitch wasn't nightmare fuel enough. But there we have it, everyone. Some Spider-Man Miles Morales glitches you can maybe try out, hopefully, if they haven't been patched, or sadly, some of them will have been patched, and you'll have to play the original version 1.0 of the game to maybe have them happen. I really hate patches. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to check out the rest of the series. I know this one's taken a long time, but there's been a lot of back and forth trying to get glitches to work. Modern games are just so difficult to cover, but I really appreciate everybody who continues to watch the show. Please don't forget to subscribe. We're in that final push to get to 1 million subscribers. I'd love to hit that sometime in the next year. A huge thank you to everybody who supports the Patreon. You guys are amazing, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.